All right, welcome everybody. My name is Matthew. I run customer success here at Express. You might recognize me if you're a current client. It's great to see you all. I'm joined today by my boss, Mark Hale, as well as Mark Bortle, who's the service instructor at ATI, and Jourdan Ryan, who's the service manager at Ryan Servicenter, which was a top shop for ATI this year. I think you won a bunch of awards. What were the awards your shop won this year, Jourdan?
We got the Humanitarian Award, and then my parents' 20 group won a few different awards.
Oh, very, very exciting. I think I've seen in the social media, you guys do a bunch of stuff with the food bank. Is that right?
Yeah, the food bank, the shelters, the whole nine.
Giving
That's
back
really nice.
everything. Yeah, that's
And I know
awesome.
we'll tie into some of that with, all the convenience you offer your customers. But I want to give Jourdan yourself an opportunity to introduce, and then the same with Mark Bortle and Dr. Hale.
Sure. My name's Jourdan Ryan. I am the service manager here at Ryan Servicenter. I'm the third generation. My grandpa started it in 1967, directly across the street from where we are now. I've been working with FacePay for I think about like 3 years now, and we love it every second of it.
Yeah, we're very grateful to have you as a customer. And I know you're third generation, so do you also have third generation customers as well?
Yeah, I have. I actually have a lot of people that I grew up going to school with that come in, and then I also have customers that watched us grow up that come in and like ask how we're doing, ask how my siblings are doing. They look for our dogs that we have here all the time. Sometimes they just stop in to stop in.
No, that's all you could ask for, really. That's really nice.
That's awesome.
And Mark Bortle, do you want to introduce yourself as well?
Yeah, I'm Mark Bortle from ATI Automotive Training Institute. Been there now going on 5 or 6 years now. They all kind of blend together at this point right now. Long story short, man, I love what I do. I mean, even, remove cars from it. My biggest thing is always trying to make people smile and feel good. So any kind of facet I can do that is what I do. And that's why I love being on here with y'all too, because if we can find a new way to make somebody smile, build the value, load the experience, and I'm hoping that's gonna work for everybody. So that's the goal.
Well said. You have a very soothing voice as well. I think you could be definitely a narrator of something.
Oh,
Very
man.
fine. I'm sure shops don't mind being in long meetings with you.
I get that often. I've had people ask me if I'm a radio personality, like nighttime or, like a nighttime radio person. I'm just like, you'll know when I do, because I'll be on an island somewhere. No, not yet. I'm still here in Baltimore City. So when that happens, y'all gonna know.
Very nice. And Dr. Hale, you want to introduce yourself as well?
Yeah, hi everybody. Maybe the first thing to say, it's interesting working with the three of you is you're the ones that need no introduction. You're stars. I love it. You're out and about, enjoying what you do community. Mark, you're so respected as a trainer and everything you do at ATI, and you walk around a super conference, just brings out the best in people, right? And Matthew, remember from day one joining the company and made an impact and grew, and just amazing. And these are what we work with in shop. So thank you all. I'm Mark Hale. I'm a founder of Express. It's a passion, what we do every day, but maybe that's what keeps us going and me going. I do about 5 demos a day, but I love talking to shop owners. I learn every single time, right? Just like I would for a coach or talking to existing clients. I just love it, right? So thanks for me being on it. Founder of Express. If you don't know my background, I used to be CTO QuickBooks. That nearly every shop, only 1 or 2 ever don't use it, but nearly every small business runs on it. It's quite a way to influence community. So thank you.
Yes. Thank you all for joining. And today what we're going to be talking about is the importance of offering priority pickups to your customers. And so I think the best way to start before we actually get into how to offer it, why it's important, is just to define priority pickup. So Dr. Hale, I don't know if you want to, since you've built Express to be around this, if you want to just explain to everyone, I'm sure service advisor is something they're cognizant of, but what exactly is a priority pickup?
Sure, happy to take that. And Jourdan, if you don't mind, I'll pick on you a little bit, if that's okay.
Of course.
Because it's interesting is you had the leap of faith with you in the early days when we called FacePay. Right? And what we learned from that is there's a benefit to the shop, and that's where my passion started, right? Is to help you, if you would save money for your shop, that you turn around, invest in the shop, or you invest in your community, right? That's where it started. It was interesting. We listened and learned the shops, and the way you present it is what customers really wanted. Is what we heard David Avern speak at Super Conference, right? Ridiculously easy. And what they had wanted to hear is, wow, you're going to be without your vehicle, and you set expectations around cost, timing, and the service. But the other anxiety comes, when do they get it back? How easy is it to get it back? And we realized priority pickup, so we relieve some of that angst with your customers. We're going to help you get it back as easy as possible. And that's where we really took off as a customer, as a vendor with Express, is with your customers, is not just so you get them back easier, but we adopted a methodology and a workflow for priority pickup. Really offloaded at the end, that you turn it into a conversation. Because you're away from online checkout, everything should be done for you. Right? And we allow you to take care as a shop, but you upload it for a customer and it turns into a conversation. Right? And your customers will gravitate that all day long. So priority pickup is offloading the traditional checkout experience, something modern, into a conversation with your customer. Right? We like call it in and out. That's priority, but it's really about a conversation with them. And that's what they love and keeps them coming back. So that's what priority pickup means. So
Yeah.
we learned, you know.
Yeah, and I know going back to Jourdan, you guys go above and beyond just the in and out, because you guys also pick up and drop off for a lot of, first responders, teachers. So I was wondering if you could elaborate a little bit on that.
Yeah, with Express, we can pick up for like teachers. We'll pick up at the schools near us. We'll pick up the first responders' cars. A lot of them work in town, or if they're like at the first aid building, we could just pick up their cars and drop it off. And in their case, if they're on a call when the car is done, we can just text out the Express Pay link and they can just approve it from there. We really don't have to have the instant communication with them. We can just take care of what they need, get paid for it, and then get their car back to them right away.
Yeah, and what benefit, besides just getting their vehicle repaired, do you guys see with that repeat business of you being able to take all that extra work and, as Mark said, all the angst out of their hands and say, we'll get it for you, we'll take care of it, we'll bring it back?
Yeah, it's just convenient. It's peace of mind. And it's just nice to be able to like trust someone to like go through all of those motions and just like put your trust in them. And we have a lot of customers that are like that are like, do whatever it needs. I believe whatever you have to say. And then just text me the link when you're done.
Yeah, and that's awesome. And for the repeat customers, I'm sure they're already aware of this and they know this is something they can rely on you for. For those new customers that, maybe it's their first time coming into the shop, how do you first present and bring that up into discussion? What does that look like?
So for like Express Pay, we have a credit card fee. So I usually just explain to them right off the bat that there is a credit card fee. And Express is a great alternative for that. Most people don't know what Express is. So you have to like go through the motions of explaining it. But the fact that it's very easy to sign up, they can do it while I'm explaining it to them. And that way they can just do it right at the drop and then we can go from there.
Yeah, and that's really well done. I know we've been working with you guys for a while, so we've really finely tuned that message. And taking us aside, just looking at that priority pickup, is that something that community members, people are talking about it? Oh yes, if you go down to this shop and you're around here, you have a busy scheduled day, whatever, they'll figure out a way to make it work. Have you found that kind of network of people spreading that and then bringing in new customers?
Yeah, we do have a decent amount of people at like local like dentist office and that kind of thing, where we will go to where they work and pick it up. Or even like the first responders. We do have our concierge vehicle. It's completely lettered and everything, so we have a decent amount of people that have been coming in because they see it driving around town, which is nice. It's nice to see the hard work paying off.
Yeah, I know you guys run a great shop there. And Mark Bortle, I'm interested to hear with the other ATI shops that you're kind of working at, is how do you build priority pickups into the language into the training you do with the service teams? And what does that look like for you?
There's a lot of different ways we always talk about it. I mean, you can bring it up. I mean, ideally you bring it up, somewhere in the beginning, but I mean, you can bring it up really at any time. And one of my favorite ways, I'm not saying this is the only way or the best way, but one of my favorite ways, especially, is if it's not brought up in the beginning, bring it up at the end at least. And I like gauging their interest, right? I like figuring out ways to get them to ask questions that I want them to ask so I can go ahead and give the value. So, before somebody leaves out of the shop, within that ending conversation, we're going over, what we did, what we didn't do, all that kind of good stuff. I may slip in there and say, hey, look, you know what, next time you come on through here, next time you need some service done, I don't know if I mentioned it to you or not. If I didn't, let me go ahead and tell you something real quick. What if I told you that there was a way where you coming in here didn't even have to happen? However, we could still go ahead and get your vehicle going. What do you mean? What are you talking about? Gauging their interest, it brings it out. Now they want to know more. So I'm like, yeah, we offer what's something called priority pickup, right? Oh, what is that? Well, priority pickup is, one, it's different for a lot of shops out there. Everybody has their own little tweaks to it, right? So if I was doing that back in my shop, priority pickup is something that we offer, every single one of our clients. It gives us the ability to not only prioritize your scheduling by having you pick and choose the date and time that you would like to have your vehicle brought in. It's also us bringing your vehicle in without you having to come. We can come to your place of work. We can come to your house. If you have another loaner vehicle, we can leave a loaner vehicle in your place. So that way you don't have to be without a vehicle for the day. Remember earlier you came here talking about it was very imperative that you get your vehicle back at 4:30 to be able to pick your kids up. Next time that's something less we won't even have to worry about. We're going to leave that vehicle there for you. You'll be able to drive this around, do whatever you got to do. And hey, even when your vehicle is finished, we can text you that link right there for you to pay. So that way, if you're even on the other side of town, we'll come to you, pick up our vehicle, drop your vehicle off. So it's one less thing you've got to worry about. We're looking to make it as convenient as possible for you because we understand traffic these days. We understand time. We understand everything out there. So we're looking to be able to create the best experience for you. And if that is something you're interested in, I'd love to go ahead and get you set up right now for your next available reservation where we'd be able to guarantee you priority pickup along with the loaner vehicle. Would you like to go ahead and service or book your next service here today, your next reservation?
Yeah.
Just kind of leave it right there around those times, I mean, you got to gauge their interest in some way, a lot of times in general, just dropping something new on somebody. A lot of times people just brush it off. But if you can get them to ask questions, if you can get them to want to know more about it, people will pay whatever for convenience. It's the whole reason why DoorDash exists. People knowingly overpay for a single taco from Taco Bell, $3.69 when you go to the store and buy it for $1.19. So if you put the product out there that spikes interest, people are going to want to come in, but they won't know until you tell them about it.
Yeah, I think that was really well said. And, presenting the option so that, because if you just put too much information on the customer, they might get overwhelmed and they might not really realize it. Or in reality, this is something that would be convenient, provide benefits to them. So you kind of want to slowly introduce it, get them thinking about it, then asking you questions. So even if it's not on their first visit, then the next visit, they're going to be aware going into that they do have this there. And Dr. Hale, it looked like you're about to say something.
I just get, me, and you're right on, Matthew, but me when I get into these sessions and I'm listening and learning, that's when I get excited, right? And this is where it adds up is, Jourdan, you said you're third generation. So we learn from you how to run a shop, treat customers, right? You're the ones we learn from.
Yeah.
Mark, the way you work with advisors. And this is what adds up when we talk to our customers is you know how to run your shop. You clearly been doing checkout, right? For 5 years, 20 years, 30 years. You've been doing checkout. It's not broke, right? But you just said, Mark, is what you're going to do is offer the best experience to your customers. So you're looking ahead. So the question you'd ask as an advisor is, I already have something, and is there something else out there that's better? If not better, the best out there for my customers. And that's what here, Jourdan, you're delivering to yours, and Mark, you're coaching on way to find that out. If they haven't done it, whether they're in there or they're leaving, we have this best experience. And this is what Express is about and why you want to try it. It's not that you don't have checkout. You've been doing that as long as you've had your shop. It's whether or not you're giving the best experience to your customers. And that's what you saw me get excited by. And this is this difference that people start to notice and brings it back in your shop, gets them talking, right? That's what you want to know.
Yeah, and this is what, differentiates ATI shops from the one down the street is advisors and managers and owners thinking about this, having these conversations, and always, focusing on how can I improve the customer experience. And I know, Jourdan, with your shop, you talked about that you do those pickups for some customers and also drop their vehicle off. My question is for some shops that might be listening in and might not be at that point yet, but might just be interested in offering a more simple priority pickup of a customer, being able to complete a payment and then easily come in, get their keys, paperwork before, after hours. What would you recommend they start with? What's kind of stage one if they haven't even thought about this before?
I think a good place to start is getting like lock boxes. So we have after hours pickup, and we literally just bought like it's like a metal lock box, and there's 6 boxes on it. We have it mounted to our building, and just being able to offer that is huge, because most of the times newer vehicles you can't lock the keys in anymore, and nobody really feels comfortable just leaving keys in cars anymore. So that's just a great place to start. And we've done that for years, and that was kind of where we started as well. But just to be able to offer that after hours pickup, because most people are working every day and most people work till 5 and that's when we work till. So it doesn't really give them the opportunity to pick up after work, after hours. And then if you have a lockbox, it makes them able to pick up anytime that's convenient for them.
Yeah. And I think, in addition to then helping customers out, because if they're busy, they're at work, whatever it might be, then they can get after hours. It's probably a big win for you and the team, because then you don't have to worry about staying 30, 45 minutes late, trying to coordinate with the customer. You could just say, hey, it's in the lockbox. You can come pick it up.
Yeah, because unfortunately I would be the one staying. So it is convenient because we have a decent amount of customers that know that I'm here like 10, 15 minutes after, and they will show up. And it's easy to just be like, I'll text them. I'll just be like, hey, keys in this lockbox. This is your code. And it's just, I guess they're just so used to it that it's just convenient.
Yeah. And I think that's the best way of putting it. And Dr. Hale, I know this is something you built, Express around. And so I didn't know if you want to touch on how, when we have the after hours pickup box, you can then just put the code right in when you send out that text to pay or check out a customer and they get it on their phone.
What's interesting is I mentioned I do a lot of demos with shops, and this is one of the biggest gaps that you touch on, Jourdan, is I hear a lot from shops that our customers like coming in, right? They do, they like you, right? They like coming in. But then the gap is when I talk to you, I'd say about 85% of shops say that customers want to come in business hours. But 72% of customers prefer to get their vehicle after hours, right? And this is a disconnect, right? So you can talk with them, but make sure you always put customer front and center. So you said, give them that option and put it there. And what I'm proud about Express is, we integrate in the workflow. But Jourdan, let's say you had to leave, what you know is you can put in the lockbox code, and the customer can do the payment and get the code after the payment after hours. So you don't need to wait there. That's a savings. Or in the morning before they're there, or even if they're busy out, you're in the shop, they can do it themselves and the keys in the box. So directly integrated a product. And that's why all auto all the time. You can put in literally the lockbox code to give your customer a payment. Right. And what a feeling that is, right? If you've ever been to an Amazon locker, same thing, put in the code and there's your package. I got it. Right. I don't have to wait for the next day. Right. We all love that. And something so simple we built in, but it's a differentiator because we think about your customers relative to your shop. So I'm super happy about that. What do you think about that, Mark Bortle?
Oh, I'm very good. Yeah, I'm with you on that.
Yeah.
I mean, like I said, convenience in general is always good, but the more amenities you can create for somebody, it gives them more reasons to want to come back.
Yeah.
I mean, it's the same way as we're all consumers out there, and every single one of us in here, or whoever may be watching, has that one particular place, whether it's restaurant or auto shop or store, clothing store, or whatever it is, that you knowingly drive further out of your way to spend more money, knowing that you could get a similar service closer to home. Now, whether that be the after hours pickup, whether that be pick up and drop off, or whether that literally just be us as advisors being in there. I mean, we create what we want to create. So, I mean, I love the fact that we are getting into, well, a lot of shops are, but I love the fact that we're going down this route, because I still remember for myself,
Yeah.
just I'd have somebody say, well, just, leave the key inside the gas tank, leave the key underneath the seat. And I'm just like, baby, I live in Baltimore, man. I can't do that, Oh, well, I got an extra key. I'm like, well, if you've got an extra key, how about this? I'll leave the key inside. You can pay for whatever. If you have an extra key, come pick it up, whenever you want to, and then come pick your key up tomorrow or something like that. So, I mean, it's just that added extra benefit that gives a person another reason to want to come back.
And have you ever, right, is this feeling, we've all been there, when we got to somewhere, a store 10 minutes late, and it just and you were rushing and trying to make it. Remember that feeling? I could see it. It all came out. We've been there, and you felt that, right. And imagine your vehicle's in there, something you want back. Was again priority pickup, just alleviates that whole thing, offloads it from your customer. But we've all been there.
Especially when the workers are standing inside and it's closed, and they're just looking at you going,
yeah. Oh yeah.
Like, come on now, Subway. I know you can give me another meatball sandwich real quick. That's good.
Yeah. I see you, right? So
Right.
yeah, we got it. But that feeling, we know what it's like, and you
Mhm.
should want to be there. So.
And I think a big important theme across what you've all said is that, the goal with a priority or after hours pickup is not to remove any, face-to-face time with the customer, because that's really important. The goal is just to help streamline and automate some things, provide more convenience for the customer so that they have the options. And, this is an objection or concern I hear a lot, is that, oh, I don't want customers to always just be paying, without being at the shop over their phone, and then me to never see them. And our goal is more just to provide those convenient options. And then that way, when you do have FaceTime with customers, you can focus on what's most important rather than just how are you going to take payment. And so, Mark Bortle, my question for you is, what when you talk with service advisors and service teams, how do you coach them on, kind of listening into maybe customer concerns and informing their pitch and their sale around what's convenient for the customer, but also is going to make them feel comfortable and good about their repair?
So, man, I got a little bit on that, but I'll probably sum it up in one of my favorite things to do. And this is something I tell everybody to do, because you get so much information from it. And it's literally just doing a walk around. I mean, you get so much information from doing a walk around, whether it's bumper stickers, decals, license tag, frame brackets. And, I try to get everybody, even if the customer isn't there, I mean, still go out there and do it, still take pictures and all that kind of good stuff. But especially if that person is there in front of you, I mean, you get to see everything that is on their vehicle. You get to see their life there. And when you start asking questions about it, you start getting an idea of what the vehicle means. And when you get an idea of what the vehicle means to them, what they use it for, if there's sentimental attachment, I mean, you start building the relationship with them. I guess what I'm trying to get at with that is, when I start my pitching for anything, I mean, it's right there as soon as somebody pulls into the parking. I'm looking at the car, I'm looking at dents and scratches, I'm looking at, how they take care of their vehicle. Now, does that always necessarily mean how they take care of their vehicle, or how the vehicle looks is how they take care of it? But I mean, from the moment somebody pulls into the lot, I'm looking to see what I can find something in common with. And when you can break that barrier, when you can bring down those walls, I mean, the customer will end up telling you more than you could ever want to know from us, rather than us asking questions. So for me, it starts right there in the beginning, man. It's figuring out who they are, what they're about, what's most important to them, and really what's their end goal with not even just their vehicle, but what's their end goal with their experience in our shop. What exactly is it that you are looking for? And when I can figure out what you are looking for as an entity, I know you want your vehicle repaired, or else you wouldn't be here, So it's like, I get that. What brings you in today? My car's broke. Yeah, okay, I didn't know that, I get that. But who are they? What are they about? What are their true wants and needs, Because every person that their first time coming into our shop was their last time somewhere else, and it was their last time for a reason. And unfortunately, and I hate that word, unfortunately, whatever happened at that previous shop, their feelings are going to carry over to us. I mean, it just is what it is. I mean, I give the analogy all the time, and if I have any doctors or nurses or anybody watching, my apologies, but I can't stand going to the doctors. And it is what it is. I mean, I don't do needles like that, man. I get nervous. So when I do go to a new doctor, I carry that, oh man, I couldn't stand it last time, but then I'm projecting it onto them. They didn't do nothing to me. So that's why I really kind of hone in, focus on their wants and needs, who they are, what they're about, You know they need their car fixed, but what do they actually really need? And once you start understanding their needs, you can form anything you do in their shop around their needs right there. Now, you may not say it the same way every single time to every single person, but once you figure out what their needs are, you can highlight like priority pickup. If it's, one thing that and I don't mean to keep on talking, my bad, but real quick, I didn't learn this until like 7, 8 years ago. And at least around my way, when it comes to daycare. And I would oftentimes have parents come in, I gotta get my kid by 4:30, they gotta pick them up by 5 or whatever it is. But I never asked. I was just like, oh, okay, yeah, I got you, of course. And it wasn't until I was actually, I had a kid and I started understanding what daycare was like. And around my way, they charge 5, 10, 15 minutes, $15 a minute that you're late picking up your kid. And I was like, one, I'm in the wrong business because that's wild right there. Number two, if I would have asked that, 3 years prior, how much easier or whose life could I have made a little bit easier? Oh man, well, no worries. If you got to pick your kid up by 4:30, let me show you what we have going on here because this will definitely make it easier for next time. So it's figuring out what their wants and needs are. It's understanding their body language, their tone, their depth, their pitch, the things that are on the cars that you can relate to understand exactly who they are.
Yeah, and no, that was great insight, because something that I found from that is then when you're talking with customers, and if they, might be communicating they're going to be in a time crunch, they need to get it after hours, they want to get picked up, then a great follow-up question rather than to just be like, okay, yes, we can do that, is, oh, well, what's your day look like? What do you do for work? Something like that. Or then you can connect with customers, form a relationship. And so then you understand, oh, we're really, going to be making his day, and we're going to allow him to, get to his son's soccer game or whatever it might be in time. And so, yeah, I think that's a good nugget for shops, is just, ask an additional question to try to connect with the customer and understand why priority pickups are so powerful. Because if you have 2 or 3 of these customers, then you might realize, oh, we need to start, mentioning this to every customer at drop off, which is, the overall goal.
Absolutely.
And so, Dr. Hale, my question for you is, with priority pickups, because we talked a lot about the convenience to the customer. We talked a little bit about at the end of the repair, with after hours pickup, it being easier for teams to not have to stay after hours. But during the day, how is offering priority pickup kind of embedded into shops' workflow, and how can that save them up time?
This is an interesting perspective, Matthew, right? So the customers benefit because you're off priority pickup. As you translate it into advisors, and this is where we had sort of back to Jourdan, we were called face pay, eval from there, is we can certainly take a payment. It's too easy to capture it in the old way at the service desk at the end, right? I'm swinging card, I'm doing payments this way. What's interesting, you look at the modern way of doing it, you can have this repair order all closed out, printed, ready for your customer before they come in. What happens when you call them, right? Oh, you come to get your vehicle at lunch tomorrow? Great. I can have your paperwork all finished, we'll accept payment, close out, and have your key waiting for you. And I'd love to see you when you get here. Right? It's all done for you. And advisors when they're swamped, we used to call it face pay Friday, right? It's so swamped for Friday morning pickup or Thursday afternoon. The more you can have done ahead of time, the better, right? Lets you engage your customers rather than rushing around more to do. And Jourdan, you feel you're able to complete some paperwork before they come in and get it done? So.
Yeah, it definitely makes it a lot easier. I actually had someone do that yesterday. She was just in a hurry because she had to pick her kids up, and we finished all the paperwork. She came in, she had like a quick talk with us just to catch up, and then she was out the door. But we didn't have to rush around to print out all the paperwork, get everything signed and everything. It was all already done.
This is cool because just like many of you know, before Intuit QuickBooks as a demand force, and we were doing reviews, right? And we built review industry. And I used to watch that stuff as a technologist because we nailed it so early and you'd monitor it. And I do the same thing now with Express. And what happens is this is a chance to be a hero, right? That customer is in a rush and you had it all done. You're a hero to them. And I watched replies and what you denote you get back from customers. And I see a lot of heroes going on now. You did this, the extra mile for your customer. And how rewarding it is for me to watch it. But for advisors, well, yeah, as a hero today, I made that difference in that customer's life today. And you see that coming in, that's the part that's meaningful. right? So if you don't want to try it, look at the hero side, right? Is you put something forward for that customer. They love it. So I don't know how you feel, Jordan, if you've had that, right? You just said with this one, you feel great. That's why you enjoy and the passion that you work so hard. So
Yeah, it's always a good feeling to help someone, for
yeah.
sure.
Mhm.
And I think a good activity from, something that I just pulled out of that, maybe if there's any owners on this call to do, is think about if you could, maybe free up your service advisors 15 or 30 minutes a day by them being able to, do the paperwork, keys, have that all ready for customers, a whole quicker pickup checkout experience, then what could giving them back 15 to 30 minutes of time in their day look like? Because I know I just had 2 trainings yesterday, and both of the owners joked about how their advisors didn't even really have time for lunch, and this is something that they knew, and they just, it just was the way it was. But it might be good to think about, if this is something we can offer, we have the benefit for the customer, which we've covered, and then we could also maybe save up a little time for our service teams. What could then they do at that time? I don't know, Mark Bortle, do you have any ideas there?
There you go. For like freeing up time or what to do in the spare time.
So more so, with how hectic and busy service advisors are at the shop, if they have 15 to 30 minutes of freed up time in a day, what impact could that have, positively on maybe their work attitude, but also on the shop, maybe thinking about new initiatives, new ideas, whatever it might be. I'm just interested to hear your thoughts there.
Yeah, well, the first one is you get lunch, like you said right there. So I mean, that's always been a big one for me. Free me up for time to eat, baby. I mean, that's where that one is what you said. But into some of the more, I don't want to say unfun stuff, but I mean realistically, some of the things that in general nobody in the shop really likes doing 100% of the time is if you ever had yourself say, "Well, I don't have time to do callbacks." There you go. There's some time right there. Is that the most fun thing in the world? For some, probably. For myself, am I waking up eager to do it? No. However, it now gives us time to. So callbacks, and a lot of people say, well, nobody ever comes in. I called 10 people and only one person came in. Well, that's one more than what I had before. So, I mean, callbacks for me have always been a great thing. If somebody is already doing that, you have the time for that and all that kind of good stuff. I would say take it up another level. I have so many shops that'll go ahead and uh, provide something else extra. And what I mean with that is, I think I have at least one example. Sorry, I thought I had one example. Oh, here we do. So actually, like a shop around my way, Revolution Motorworks, they're an ATI shop. What can you do in your spare time? Send out thank you cards. And not only that, I mean, it's a handwritten thank you card. I don't know if you can really see that right there, but it's a handwritten thank you card. Now, is everybody going to care about that? No. But the right people are going to care about that. And that's one of the things I love about this place. It says, "Dear Mark, we wanted to thank you for giving us the opportunity to service your Suburban. We look forward to seeing you again." Maybe it takes 15, 20 seconds to write, but if you've got an extra 15 minutes right there, go ahead and grab last week's people right there. First time folks, write them a thank you card, If you're looking to get into social media, make a 5-10 minute video right there a couple times a week, put it up online. I mean, a lot of people will say, well, now they're just standing around not doing anything. We got to find things to do. Well, find things to do then. What other things can you do in your shop that you're not already doing outside of the norm? Think outside of that little box. One of the things that I was told, probably a few months now, and it kind of shook me a little bit, was that a lot of younger people these days, and when I say younger, obviously I'm a little seasoned out there, but the 18 to 24-year-olds apparently are going to TikTok before Google to look for things. You got 15 to 30 minutes now, go ahead and start making some TikTok videos. Who cares if it's the best content? Who cares if it looks good? Just start somewhere. If that's where a lot of these young folks are just looking for things, well, you got 30 minutes right there. Start getting out there where these people are, I mean, those would be some of the things that I would love to do if I could definitely go back in time instead of just kind of like standing there holding the wall up, I mean, I would definitely get online more, get on social media more. Where are the people at? Create engaging content, I mean, those are just some of the things I would do right there. Those would be some of the things that I would do to just elevate that experience a little bit more. Now, can you do other more fun things like, like I said, callbacks and, RO audits and all that kind of good stuff? Absolutely. But, if at least one person out there is going to say, well, we already do all that. Well, then do all the other stuff that we just talked about right there. Do something that you're not already doing.
Yeah. And
Mark, sorry, Matthew.
go
I
for
just
it.
stoked again. You know how I am. So that's when we get to the fun side.
Mm,
But then you know how it always is. We're on it. We're always so busy.
mm.
I don't want to try this new thing because I'm so swamped that I can't get it in there. So maybe I want to ask Jourdan is what's level of effort that you found for Express for customers and checking out, right? You're swamped is how much effort's in there to actually do it that someone could give it a try? What do you see?
It's very minimum effort to do anything with Express. It's literally just sending a message to either check the customer in or to take payment. You just click a few buttons and that's very minimum effort.
Mhm.
And what would you say to maybe an owner who loves it, wants to use it, but an advisor who's stubborn, closed off? What would be, if you had to summarize in 1, 2 sentences of you should give it a try, here's why.
Yeah, I think that it's definitely worth a try. I mean, I think that it's very simple to learn. Like I said, it's just a few clicks to check people in. And it's the world that we live in now. People want to pay quickly and they want to do it before they get here and they want to make sure everything's taken care of. So when they get here, they can leave. Like, especially where I am, I'm in New Jersey, everyone's like, go, 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 go.
Yeah.
So just to have that convenience is astronomical.
It's
Yeah.
the world we live in. I put it here on my note. That's interesting, right? That is the world we live in.
Yeah.
Uh,
Right? We've changed.
And I think on the, advisor manager side, if currently they are resistant to this, but their owner wants them to, I think just taking that, it's not even a leap, just taking that one step of action and effort will really, in your owner's eyes, make you an asset to the team. And then you can also, if you have free time too, thinking about some of the things Mark Bortle was talking about is, how can I not only be better to my customers, but how can I be a better advisor, a better manager, a better employee? And, I know that a lot of shops deal with high turnover, but I think something really important to think about both from the owner side and the advisor side is in, how can I be a better teammate? How can I be a better member? How can I be, do better at this job? So thank you, Jourdan. We're very glad to work with you and appreciate you, sharing those messages.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Yeah, and so, if I were to kind of summarize everything we've talked about, I would say that if a shop is not yet offering priority pickups or they're not thinking about it yet, a good first step could be to research, those after our pickup boxes, then sit down with their team and talk about, hey, here's a way that you can then mention to customers earlier on in the repair, bring it up in a conversation, kind of ask, gauge their interest, as Mark Porto was talking about, of, having a priority pickup. And I think that's a great way just to introduce it. Express, we would love to work with you or work with a lot of ATI shops. We'll go inside your workflow to make it easy for you to send out text to customers so they can approve their priority pickup. I think that's a great first step. And then if you're already doing that, I think something good to think about would be then, picking up vehicles maybe for teachers, first responders, people in your community that, do a lot of other good things. And then, aside from that, maybe sitting down and thinking about if we have 15, 30 minutes of free time a day that, we can work for ourselves is what could we do? What new initiatives, ideas, could we bring into the shop? So those are kind of my takeaways. I'll leave it up to you three if you wanted to add anything else to the conversation before we close out.
Yeah, I'll throw in one thing that I know a couple of shops are doing out there, and especially with priority pickup. And I know what it is, but I'm still literally learning about it myself. However, I think it's an interesting concept. And if anybody is ever interested, I mean, if you're an ATI shop, get with one of the coaches. I know some of them out there have some shops that are doing something like this. If anybody's out there worried about priority pickup and well, I'm going to have to send somebody out there. It's going to take away from time in the shop. Who am I going to pay to go out there and do all that? I know quite a handful of shops right now that are offering like a monthly subscription.
Mm-hmm.
And in the world we live in today, I mean, everything's subscription these days, more or less right there in shops. I don't remember what the prices are. I'm just going to fill in one and say, $19.99 a month, For $19.99 a month, you get priority pickup and drop off. You also get priority, reservation scheduling right there. So it's best on your days. That'll come with a tire rotation, a four-wheel balance, and a complimentary alignment check, all for $19.99 a month right there, You get 100 people to do that. Again, just throwing out a number. I'm not a math magician, but 20 times 100 sounds like a lot of money to me right there. Use that to go ahead and maybe possibly hire somebody else part-time to go ahead and bring people back and forth. I mean, that's one of the things that I know a handful of shops are really messing with. And I mean, it's different. I mean, it's people are used to the they're used to the subscription-based lifestyle right now. And again, if you can create that want for it, people are going to want to do it because there's at least one person out there that's going to want to do it. And if that one person wants to do it, they're going to tell their friends. If they tell 10 friends and one person doesn't, it's just a trickle down effect, you know? So that's one of the really interesting things that I've seen probably over the last year with like priority pickup, drop off, all that kind of things, the subscription-based services. So something to think about.
And Mark, Hale, do you have something to add there about subscriptions? I know that's something we've been talking with a lot of shops about for a good probably year and a half now.
Well, it comes, I wrote down this quote, it's the world we live in. Right? And you touch subscription base, and the whole concept behind it is the world's more convenient now. Right? As I've offloaded from me to you to help me understand my vehicle and have it done right. That's what we do for subscription. Y'all know how we disrupted, if you would, the credit card industry because we're a subscription for our product. Right? Why do you need all these fees and excess? Subscriptions is easy to understand, and it's up to us to earn your business every month. Right? It's up, so we've offloaded it. It's on us. The onus on us to do that. Right? And Mark, you just touched on it as convenience. And then if I go into a recap, is we can extend that. Because people are, you're overwhelmed. Where do you start? And think about the feeling as your very next customer that comes in. You say, I understand you'll be without your vehicle. We can get it back to you faster and easier, called priority pickup. Let me help you with that. Do it for your next customer. That's what priority pickup means. We'll handle sending out the link. As George mentioned, it's easy to get the payment. But where do you start that next customer, right? That you're offloading that burden and make it easier on them. That's the passion, right? That's what's the best effort from your shop, right? Best ever. You can move forward. So that's where I would start, your very next customer. So thank you.
Yeah. So, and if anybody in the audience, has any questions, feel free to put those in the chat. Now we'll wait a few seconds. And what I'll also share is if any of you listening are not current clients, but are maybe, interested about it, have thought about it, heard about it from one of your coaches or maybe somebody else in your group, please just reach out. We're happy to help. If you onboard with us, we'll get you set up with a nice barbecue lunch for your team so that you can, say thank you and treat your employees. And we'll also send you a little shaved ice machine so you can have that in there for these hot summer days and something nice to give to customers as well. So I'll see if there's any other questions. Doesn't look like there's anything. So yeah, I think we'll close out then. Anything else from you three before I?
Thank you.
No? All right. Well,
Thank you for having us on.
Yeah, I love our customers and everybody that's on. Just thank you. Right, I jotted down notes. I learn every time. So thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Yes.
Well.
Thank you, everybody, for attending, and thank you, Mark and Jourdan, for joining us. Excuse me, and
Absolutely.
Dr. Hale. Always a pleasure to work with you and do these together.
See you later, everybody.
Have a great day.
Bye.
as well.
Thank you.
See you.
Bye.
Take care.